Well, howdy, everybody, and welcome to Crime in America. This is CRIJ 1307. This is the summer online version of the program. This is my introductory video where I'm going to tell you all about the course requirements. I'm going to try to scare you into realizing that this is a 16-week course being taught in 5 weeks, so you're going to really have to put your feet down and get to work right away on it. There's no waiting around to get things done. Before we get really started talking about the actual course, many of you may have never taken a class from me before and don't know me, so I'm going to give you a brief introduction to myself. My name is Craig Foss. I am the chair of the criminal justice program here at Alvin Community College. We've got a criminal justice program and a police academy. I work closely with the academy, but that's run by a different person. He'll teach some of my classes. I'll teach some in the police academy, so we kind of work together. Give you a little background on me. I'm a retired career police officer, actually twice retired police officer. I worked briefly for the Beaumont Police Department in the 1970s, and then went to work for the Galveston Police Department, where I stayed for 21 years. After I retired there, I went to work for the Dickinson Police Department. I worked as a patrol officer in Galveston and in Beaumont and on patrol. I also worked as a patrol sergeant in Galveston. I worked as a detective both in Dickinson and in Galveston. I worked fraud cases mostly in Dickinson. I worked auto theft cases in Galveston. I spent the bulk of my career in Galveston as a crime scene officer and identification officer. I was a fingerprint examiner, also a polygraph examiner during my career. And again, I've been twice retired. My education started with a bachelor's degree at Midwestern State University, and I've got my master's degree from Sam Houston State. Go Bearcats! That's kind of where I came from. I've been here at the college since 2014. I really enjoy teaching classes. There's some administrative stuff that goes with this that I'm not so crazy about, but that kind of goes with writing a lot of reports and police work. You just have to take the good with the bad. Now go ahead and get out of the way, and we will talk about what is expected of you. We'll talk about how you navigate through Blackboard using this particular course. I'm going to assume that you can get to Blackboard. If you're getting this presentation by email and you don't know how to get into Blackboard, send me an email back. I'll connect you to the right person. Most of you are probably going to be watching this already in Blackboard, so we know you know how to get here. When you open up the class, it should launch you to the home page where you have things like the announcements. I will put out a couple announcements, usually once a week at least, with things that are due and so forth. You may have gotten this email presentation through an announcement that was sent out. That it also goes out as an email. Other things that are on here, just kind of an alert. There's a past due section that is not going to work for this course. I do not have due dates set up because of the fact that I allow you to work ahead, and I use a system that looks at your scores, determine whether to open up the next chapter, and if you have deadlines, it messes things up. So Blackboard deadlines aren't there, but you still have, and you are required to follow the deadlines. The consequences for not are very great, so we'll talk about that when we get to the syllabus. So the next thing on here is all the course material. We've got to start here, the weekly content. This is the meat and potatoes of the program. We've got the research paper tab, the exam tab, and then a link to get to the discussions. You'll also find the actual discussion material in the weekly content. We'll go ahead and start with the Start Here tab. So if you'll click on that link, it will bring up things like the syllabus, the class schedule, and look at this class schedule. I told you it is a 16-week course in 5 weeks. So we're looking at 3 chapters a week. We're looking at having an exam in all but the first weeks. So you're going to either have a major exam in weeks 2 through 5. You also got a research paper, and you've got to do a presentation that you'll have to submit a video presentation in a PowerPoint. But we'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute. If we go to the next thing on here is my office hours. they may be different each semester, so look on Blackboard to check the office hours. And then I've got a link to the textbook that you will be using. And again, it may be a different one than the one posted here, so be sure to look at that. So now let's go look at the syllabus. This is kind of an important part. This is what you're required to do. And in most of it's standard language. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the standard language. I'm going to spend more time on the things that are a little bit different. First, I've got to note, this is not a self-paced class. You will be allowed to work ahead, but you must meet all the course deadlines. The major exams must be taken in a proctored setting. That proctored setting is going to be, most likely through the HonorLock proctoring system and not on campus. Again, that's going to depend on the time frame and when you're actually taking this course. As I'm preparing this video presentation, the campus is shut down because of COVID-19, but if you're watching this video a couple of years from now, but gosh, I hope we're not locked down in a couple of years from now, but just kind of look at that. If you're going to communicate with me, the best way to do it is by email. You can call me in the office. If I'm in the office, and again, during this COVID-19 time, I won't be in the office. So you go ahead and send me an email and I will get back to you. Again, if you're looking at this video in 2022 or later, hopefully that will not be the case. The course description, this is the 3-hour lecture course where we're looking at a study of American crime problems. This is actually a criminology course. A little bit different than a criminal justice course, kind of falls in it. It's the study of crime and what makes people commit crime. It's not looking at, the hands-on or how to enforce the law. This is, why are people doing this stuff? Upon successful completion of the course, the student will recognize the crime problem in America from a historical perspective, look at the impact of crime and trends related to it, look at the social characteristics, prevention of specific crimes, and an emphasis will be on traditional, organized, white-collar, and political crimes. We'll have chapters on that. If you look further, you will see the course syllabus, and again, another copy of the course outline. Now, the course will have 3 major exams and a final, so actually 4 major exams. They will be multiple choice. You will have either 50 questions for the regular exams and 80 for the final, and you'll have a minute each for each question. So 50 minutes or 80 minutes. That's plenty time to take it. If you do not spend a whole lot of time on 1 or 2 questions, you'll do great. It is an open book, open note test. However, if you spend a lot of time on one question, you're not going to finish the exam. Every semester I have at least one person who doesn't get it done. There will be a weekly quizzes for each chapter, actually 8 chapter quizzes. Since this is a summer course, it's not 1 quiz a week because we're covering 3 chapters a week, so you'll have 3 quizzes due each week. You will also have a research paper and presentation. There's a video for you to watch on the research paper. The only thing that's different than in the video is we will not be coming to campus to present. Don't really have time in a 5-week program, so you will need to do a videotape of presenting your paper to an audience of at least 2 people, and you'll need to upload it. There'll be information on that on the research paper tab for you to look at later on. Participation in discussion is important. Our discussion questions, for the most part, are going to be over the exam reviews. One thing in this class, because of the short nature of the class, you're going to have a discussion for each chapter. However, you're going to have to do follow-up posts, only 10 follow-up posts for the semester. So I'm going to have a separate grade for follow-up posts. If you do 10 of them the first week, then you don't have to do any more the rest of the semester. There's only 4 weeks left in the semester, though, after the first week. But you will need to do some substantive follow-up post, which means looking at the answer that the person gave and contrasting it with yours, where yours is different. Don't pick one that has the exact same answer as yours. That's not discussion. That's just being in agreement. So if you've got something different than somebody, then you can use that for your follow-up post, and you'll have 10 of those to do during the semester. Guys, plagiarism, writing a paper, turning in a paper that you didn't write, turning in a paper that you wrote for another class, that's all plagiarism. There's a video on it that you'll need to watch as part of the introductory quiz. And you definitely don't want to do that. You will fail the class. There is no way. If I catch you cheating, that is an automatic failure. That's just something that we can't allow in a criminal justice program. And I just kind of mentioned the introductory quiz just to let you know there will be an introductory quiz that will cover the material in this video and the plagiarism video, academic research video that you will watch, that you will need to make 100% on before you move on to chapter 1. So, while you're watching this video, just kind of keep notes of, be prepared to answer back to this. You can take the quiz as many times as you want, and the questions don't change, so you'll pass it with 100%. Now, breakdown of the grades. The exams are all worth 15% of your grade for a total of 45%. The final is worth 20%. Your research paper is worth 10% of your grade. All those quizzes are worth the same as a major test. That's 15% of the grade. And participation's worth 10%. Now we'll talk about the quizzes while we're here. You will have to take a quiz for each and every chapter, and you will have to make at least a 70 on that quiz to move to the next chapter. You will also have to participate in the discussion question by posting your responses to the discussion question before you can move on to the next chapter. Making a 70 on the quiz is not that hard. It's 10 questions. The questions don't change. You will be able to retake it as many times as you want. In fact, here's a hint. Take it till you make 100. That's 15% of your grade. You should have 100 for 15% of your grade. So, it's kind of a no-brainer. You can do it. It's not that many questions. Attendance for online classes is based upon participation in the class. Again, you're going to have numerous items that are due each week, whether it's going to be quizzes, discussion questions, research paper, or presentation. Things are due. If you don't do anything during a week, you're going to be considered absent, and you will be marked as such. If you do some of the work but not all of the work, you're going to be marked late. 2 lates equal 1 absence. If you have more than 1 absence, and mind you, there's only 5 classes, so 5 weeks, 5 classes, so more than 1 absence is a lot. If you have more than 1 absence, you will lose a letter grade for each additional absence equivalent. So again, if you have late material 4 out of the 5 weeks, you're going to lose a letter grade because 4 absences equals 4 missed deadlines equals 2 lates, which is the equivalent, that's 4 lates. It's an equivalent of 2 absences. So if you have an A average in the class, you get a B. You have a B average in the class, you get a C, and so forth. Get your stuff in on time. Also keep in mind, just because you got dinged for being late, you still have to turn it in. Everything has to be submitted. You can't take the final exam until you've submitted every other thing in the course. So make sure you get it done. You got plenty of time to get things done. No, you really don't have plenty of time. You got to work real hard to get it done because you've only got 5 weeks to get everything done. As far as technology, you have any questions on that, go ahead and read through this and read through the rest of the material. Again, that's all pretty much standard language. So I'm not really going to spend a whole lot of time on that, but please read through. If you have any questions, send me an email and I'll be glad to get back with you. Now we're going to move to the meat and potatoes. This is where the weekly content is, and it's broken down by each week. It shows you what is due in each week, and then things are found in folders in that week. So the first week, again, you've got a lot to do. You've got the week 1, you've got the introduction video, that's this video, the APA video. You got to take the introductory quiz, make 100% on it. You've got to do chapter 1, which is watching a video, reading the book, taking a quiz, making 70 or better on it. and so forth. Let's get in here. I've got a better list of what is due inside. I have been updated on the outside. You also have the chapter review discussion that needs to be done for each chapter, and it's a simple exam review is basically what it is. Now, the chapter material and the introduction and all are all going to be found in separate folders. The introductory folder is available to everybody, and you will find all the material in there, including the introduction quiz and links to get to the research paper and so forth. We'll get to that in a minute. The chapter quizzes folders are not going to be open until you have completed the previous requirement. Now, in this mock student that I've got, he already made 100 on the introductory quiz, and he's already participated in the introduce yourself discussion board. So his chapter 1 folder is available. You'll notice chapter 2 and chapter 3 should also be on this page, but they're not, because you got to finish chapter 1 before chapter 2 shows up, and chapter 2 before chapter 3 shows up. Other thing that's found on this page is an open discussion board that will be available on every weekly page. It's called Ask Your Instructor, and use this form to ask questions regarding the lecture, the textbook, any other questions. If you find something that's not right, if there's a question that's not right, you can post that question here. Other students may have the same question. This forum is not for you to ask questions about your grade or other personal questions. For that type of inquiry, send me an email, and here's my email. It's cfoss@alvincollege.edu. And be sure to send the email from your college account. I cannot answer emails from a personal account on college material because of privacy laws. Okay, so let's go to the introduction, and we'll look and see what we've got to do this week. First is watch this video. Right here, you've got the APA plagiarism video, which you'll need to watch it because you're going to have to answer some questions on that for this introductory quiz. Then I've got a little video on the HonorLock system, and this is our proctoring system. It's new this semester. That when I'm publishing this, if this is 2 years from now and you've been using it for a while, no need to watch it. It's about a 15-20 minute video that shows you how to set it up. The key things here is you need a computer or tablet or laptop. Won't work on a phone. Works on a Chromebook, though. That's one thing our last proctoring software didn't work on. But you will need to have the Chrome browser, and there's a very short extension that has to be added. You can remove it after every time. It only takes a couple seconds to add, maybe 30 seconds to add it into your computer. Once you have completed the videos, then you will be ready to take the introductory quiz. Because of the fact that you're going to have to take your major exams using this proctoring system, I want to make sure it works for you. So this introductory quiz will be taken using the same proctoring system. All the other quizzes that you take are going to be taken without the proctoring software. This proctoring software is not nearly as bad as the old one. Next thing you have is your little tab on the research paper. You want to go to that section. There's a video for you to watch, and you want to choose the topic before somebody else does. And then the next section, and we're going to go to that section in just a moment. The next section we have is the introduce yourself, and this is a discussion board. This is one that you're going to have to do some follow-ups. They don't really count. This is more to say hi to each other. They're not counting towards the 10 that are required for your grade. This is just to say hello type thing. Tell us what your major is, your current job, your career goals, and tell us something interesting about yourself. And then I have a little video in case you want to forward your ACC email to your personal account. It's just something some people don't like, having to look at several different accounts. Now we'll go to the research paper tab. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the research paper. Just to let you know, there is a video right here on the research paper. Watch it. It talks about it. The only difference between what you'll see on here is we will not be doing, in this 5-week course, we don't have time to come to campus to do the presentation, so you will need to do it by video, and you will need to submit that. There will be this video presentation submission I'm not sure which one. We've got 3 different methods of submitting it. Whichever one's working the best at the time you go to submit it will be the one that we're using. Now, the key point here is to watch this video. It will show you how to sign up for your topic selection and so forth. I'll send a link out with the topic selection if I send this out by announcement, so if you want to get in there early and pick a topic, you can. But it's real important. The key thing in this research paper is you have to do a personal interview or you will not pass the course. You've got to find somebody that has more knowledge than most people on your topic and interview them. So just kind of keep that in mind. The next section we've got is the exam tab. This is where you will find your major exams and they are due at various times. Here's some information on the honor lock. Again, watch that video. That's a separate video. I don't want to spend a lot of time covering it because it's covered in a different video. But watch that video before you take the introductory quiz. You won't have to watch it again because once you do, you'll have it down. It's really not that hard. Other things that are available, you've got email, another link to the discussion board, my grades. If you're going to meet with me, we may be going to by virtually. We've got a virtual meeting room, and got things like a link to the library, Blackboard, chat support, technical support, and so forth that will be available to you. Well, guys, that's about it for the course, but keep in mind, again, I'm trying to emphasize, this is a 16-week course that you're taking in 5 weeks. It's very doable, but it's not if you get behind. You cannot get behind in this class or you will not finish it. Start working on that research paper as soon as you pick your topic. I mean, start looking for material right away. Start thinking about who you're going to interview and start working on that. That's all I've got. Looking forward to working with each and every one of you this semester. If anybody has some questions, feel free to send me an email or call me if I happen to be in the office. But again, the best way is probably send me an email and we'll get back to you. I'll talk to you later.